Well, everybody, I've been so swept up in the hype for Superman, I forgot to do my review for Jurassic World Rebirth and for Elio. So let's start with Jurassic World Rebirth. Listen, guys, I love this movie. Now, the first 10 minutes lose me. The plot contradicts itself. It says that no one cares about dinosaurs anymore, but then when a giant dinosaur is in the middle of the road, people are taking photographs of it, so that's contradiction. I think maybe with a bit of better wording, I think what they meant to say was, no one cares about old dinosaur bones. But the movie didn't say that, so that's a nitpick. And the jokes weren't really landing. They play out this breath mint joke with Jonathan Bailey, like eating a breath mint and taking his time. It's not funny. It was awkward. And so I thought, oh no, this is going to be horrendous. And how we get to the boat and how we get to them, chasing after the Mosasaurus, it's a bit sloppy. The plot takes a bit of time to kick in, I won't lie. So those first 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the film are shockingly bad. Scarlett Johansson's character is shockingly egotistical and arrogant and not likable. However, once we get on the boat to find the Mosasaurus, everything changes. Here we go, peak Jurassic movie. Also, I forgot to mention, the first 5 minutes, the opening kill, that's great. And I think with these movies, people expect, like, Oppenheimer plot. People are like, oh my god, how can a Snickers bar be the cause of that? But that's perfect. That's just human error. And it's just kind of saying, guys, don't be as stupid as this. This film is like warning humanity about science. And I thought that was an epic first kill. I thought that whole opening scene was incredible. So then we kind of get into the film and we get this other family who I hate. This family, okay, is the worst family in existence. Why? The dad is awful. He's so silly. So is the older sister. So I feel so bad for the daughter. She's been, the little girl, she's been dragged on this thing and she can't catch a break in this movie. Now I get it. We need this family in the movie to get the dinosaur action. So that's the only reason I kind of stomached them, because we got some awesome dinosaur set pieces. And what I will say is, this takes heed of the Jurassic World in the title. I think the Chris Pratt movies didn't, and that's a nitpick of mine. This really feels like a Jurassic World. We've got a sea dinosaur, an air dinosaur, and a land dinosaur. But this dad just annoyed me. Like, there's the best scene in the film where the T-Rex is chomping down on the inflatable boat, right? The dad, is just, like, swimming behind the rocks. Why aren't you going out to risk your life, to save your own daughter? Why are you just staying there and telling her to swim? How is she going to outswim a T-Rex? Dude, if I was her dad, I'd be risking my life over hers. I'd be swimming out there. I'd be chucking her back to her older sister. And I would sacrifice myself. The boyfriend. Obviously, we all hated at the start. But actually, he was actually a really good character. He was my favourite in that family dynamic. And he had the best laughs in the movie as well. I liked as well that we weren't afraid to kind of... I don't know what this was, PG-13, 12? We weren't afraid to get some dinosaur chomping and some blood. We weren't afraid to get kind of graphic, which I really appreciated. Jonathan Bailey's character is probably my favourite character in the film. Obviously, he was trained under Alan Grant, which was a really nice Easter egg, and I don't know, there's Jonathan Bailey, there's just this charmingness about him that you just kind of gravitate towards. I don't know if that means he's a bad actor, because every role I've seen him in, I just like him in. So maybe if he plays a villain, we'd have to see if I'd still like him as a villain. But he was great. Scarlett Johansson was fabulous. I thought she was going to be awful. Again, when we're introduced to her, I thought, oh no. But once we get the other family on board, the actual warship, right, then she picks up, and it's great. I feel like this movie could have done with other scenes that gave context about what the characters were talking about. There's this interaction between Scarlett Johansson's character, Zora, and Duncan, Mahershala Ali's character, right? And they're kind of saying all this stuff, all this exposition dump that the audience aren't in on. So we kind of know that Zora lost a close family member, but we don't see it. We kind of know that Duncan's child died, and because we don't see that, we can't really have that much of a emotional connection to that. But it is very lovely in the final moments of the film where Duncan says to the little girl, "I won't let anything happen to you," and so that moment is very sweet. But I feel like that could have been an even bigger punch if we got a flashback as to what happened to Duncan's child. The action is sick. The dinosaurs are sick. I don't mind making the dinosaurs all sciencey and mutated because we've had 6 films of normal dinosaurs. So, film 7, yeah, let's change it up a bit. As long as I get some weird monster chomping down on humans, I don't really care what is doing that. Kind of the same for like Kong or Godzilla. So I was like, yeah, let's make the D-Rex. Yeah, let's do it. D-Rex. I thought the villain was a bit pathetic, but I think the villain was made to be predictable and pathetic, so that in the end, when he literally gets his head chopped off by the D-Rex, it's quite satisfying. All in all, man, I thought this movie was solid. Also, what they do that the Chris Pratt films didn't do for me, they recapture the magic. We see dinosaurs in their natural habitat, these really big ones. Bailey's reaction to these dinosaurs is like, wow. And they play the original da 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 da. And the colours in this movie are so vibrant that it adds to the scene. And I found myself going, because obviously I was not born when the original Jurassic Park came out. And so I can only imagine what people in the cinema were feeling for that movie. But I tell you what, I actually think I felt that in this movie. I felt that in my soul, it was like an out-of-body experience. This movie, even like just looking back now, that movie has made me feel something quite poignant. It's quite like, wow. Like, the Chris Pratt films didn't make me feel that. So, I don't know. I'd have to watch Jurassic World again. But I'm willing to say that Jurassic World Rebirth, as of now, maybe it's recency bias, but as of now, Rebirth is my second favourite Jurassic film.